Hello guys, welcome back to LR Anime. Guys, please like the video and subscribe to my channel. Today is explanation of upcoming episode of Renegade Immortal based on novel. So let's start. Wang Lin lied to Li Muwen. He couldn't think of a way to protect Li Muwen and also make sure Juayu's soul remained intact. If he were to pull out Juayu's soul in advance, the death aura created at that moment would be very harmful to Li Muwen's nascent soul. Even if her nascent soul could withstand it, it would be seriously injured and would most likely shatter soon after. This was still secondary though. The moment Juayu's soul is removed, the Heaven's Messenger will descend. Without Juayu's soul to mask Li Muwen's nascent soul, Li Muwen will be exposed before the heavens. At that moment, Li Muwen's nascent soul won't be fully recovered, so the heaven's law will still affect her greatly. The original plan wasn't like this. Li Muwen's nascent soul was supposed to fuse with the baby's flesh. Doing this would make it so that her soul would belong to the baby, allowing her to effectively dodge the heaven's law. But right now everything had changed. Aside from Li Muwen devouring Juayu's soul, nothing else could resolve this change. This answer was the dead end Wang Lin had reached after 4 years of struggling. There was no doubt in his heart when he thought about who was more important. He had already decided to sacrifice Juayu to allow Li Muwen to awaken. This choice was very cruel and was very painful for Wang Lin as well. However, Wang Lin was an old monster who had cultivated for 500 years. After 4 years of struggling, his heart was as hard as steel. Wang Lin looked at Juayu, who was silently pondering on a rock in the distance, and thought to himself, Juayu, I will not forget this kindness. I'll make sure your family lives in prosperity for 10 generations. They will rule over Chu. As if she had heard Wang Lin, her body trembled as she turned toward him. Tears appeared at the corners of her eyes, but there was a big smile on her face. These last 2 years slowly went by day by day. The day at which the Heaven's Messenger will arrive was getting closer. After arriving at the moon, Wang Lin had never gone back to Suzaku, so he naturally didn't know about the big changes that were taking place in the country of Suzaku. The current country of Suzaku could be said to be covered in the flames of war. The Forsaken Immortal clan had moved out with 4 nine-leaf shamans, which were equal in power to ascendant cultivators, and began a back-and-forth war with the country of Suzaku. At the same time, one shocking piece of news after another echoed across planet Suzaku. Most of the news contained the word betrayal. Various figureheads of cultivation countries and ancestors of sects betrayed the country of Suzaku. Due to many of these betrayals at key points of battles, the country of Suzaku was forced to retreat many times. Now a rumor was spreading across planet Suzaku. Countless years ago, the Forsaken Immortal clan came up with a technique. By sacrificing a large number of clan members, they could turn a clan member into a cultivator. In these countless years, the Forsaken Immortal clan converted 9 different people. Because they didn't have the bodies of Forsaken Immortal clan members, they weren't restricted by the seal, so they went out and joined various sects. This was the strongest card the Forsaken Immortal clan had for this war. The moon was currently countless times quieter than planet Suzaku. There were only 3 more months until the fated day. Juayu hadn't spoken for an entire year. The time she spent sleeping had increased greatly. Now she was sleeping for a majority of the day. Little White still stayed by her side. The sadness in his eyes deepened more each day. As for Little Violent, he didn't understand anything, so he just lied on the ground and looked at Juayu and Little White in confusion. Wang Lin's divine sense was always locked onto Juayu to keep an eye on Li Muwen's nascent soul. He also kept his body at peak condition so he could deal with the Heaven's Messenger at any moment. The original body was doing the same deep in the molten core of the moon. He couldn't allow himself to lose this battle against the Heaven's Messenger. While Juayu was sleeping, she would sometimes sleep talk. She would still say, "Uncle, I'm scared," but these words became less and less frequent. Most of the time she was muttering something too jumbled to make out. Whenever she spoke like this, tears would come out of her eyes. The 19-year-old Juayu had grown up. Although she wasn't an exquisite beauty, she had a sense of innocence and purity. Juayu spent the whole final month sleeping. She didn't wake up even once this month. Li Muwen's nascent soul had begun to devour her. Little White and Little Violet had been sealed away by Wang Lin to prevent them from messing with Li Muwen's awakening. He was currently beside Juayu. His heart felt pain as he looked at the little girl. "Uncle, who are you? Uncle, thank you for saving me. Uncle, you promised to catch me a big tiger. Uncle, I'm scared. Can you take away the little person inside me?" His memories of Juayu flashed across his mind. After a while, Wang Lin let out a long sigh. Time slowly passed by and the last month slowly came to its end. The final day had finally arrived. Wang Lin could feel Li Muwen's nascent soul awaken. She was currently devouring Juayu's soul. Grey clouds suddenly appeared in the sky above the moon. The moment they appeared, they began to gather. Inside the clouds, a pair of eyes appeared. Wang Lin was very familiar with this pair of eyes. The heaven's messenger from 19 years ago descended once more. That gaze swept past Wang Lin and landed on Zhu Yu. The pair of eyes glowed as a giant hand reached out toward her. Wang Lin's eyes lit up. Without any hesitation, he jumped into the air and pointed at the giant hand. At this moment, the life and death scroll appeared in the sky. Wang Lin shouted, "Scram!" Thick strands of grey gas came out of the life and death scroll and gathered before Wang Lin. The giant hand from the heaven's messenger arrived and collided with the grey gas. Boom! An earth-shattering sound echoed across the area as the grey gas from the life and death scroll was pushed apart and the giant hand bounced back. Wang Lin's eyes became cold. After sending out a message with his mind, the ground began to crack open. His original body charged out of the ground, went after the giant hand, and punched it hard. Boom! Another earth-shattering sound echoed across the area. The sky split open and the earth shattered. The retreating hand was completely shattered by the original body's punch. Wang Lin's eyes were like lightning. He said, in a deep voice, "This time you still won't be able to take away Li Muwen's soul." The pair of eyes in the clouds didn't change at all, but this time two hands suddenly came down from the sky. There was red lightning crackling and popping all over the two hands. Wang Lin's eyes became serious. This time the heaven's messenger seemed to be prepared. The two giant hands quickly arrived. One reached toward Wang Lin and the other toward his original body. The original body let out a roar and immediately grew into a giant more than 100 feet tall. The three purple stars on its forehead began to rapidly spin as it threw out a punch. Bang! A powerful shockwave quickly spread out in the air. The original body was knocked back with red light all over its body. It then smashed into a mountain, causing the entire mountain to turn to dust. That giant arm was bounced back once more, but this time it didn't shatter. As for Wang Lin, when the arm came, his hand formed a seal and pointed at the giant hand. The life and death scroll in the sky suddenly closed and moved before him to block for him. The giant hand grabbed the scroll. It paused for a moment and then was about to withdraw with the scroll. Wang Lin's eyes were bloodshot as he shouted, "Shake!" The life and death scroll shook and a large amount of grey gas came out of it. Sizzling sounds came from the hand along with white gas. In the end, the giant hand had to let go of the scroll and withdraw. The pair of eyes ruthlessly looked at Zhu Yu, who was currently behind Wang Lin. The pair of giant hands ripped apart the clouds, revealing a giant face. This face looked extremely normal, but the moment one saw it, they would feel respect for it. This face represented the might of the heavens. He coldly stared at Wang Lin and opened his mouth. A strand of grey light suddenly flew out of his mouth and formed a wheel. The moment this wheel appeared, the sky changed colors and the earth shook. Countless cracks began to spread with Wang Lin as the center, and in the blink of an eye the land within 5,000 kilometers began to crack open. Countless spatial rifts appeared in the sky. These spatial rifts linked together, making it look as if the sky was going to fall. Wang Lin's expression was gloomy. With only a thought, his original body arrived and fused with him. The real Wang Lin appeared. The giant face didn't even look at Wang Lin. He moved his large hand toward the wheel and touched it. A mysterious sound came from the wheel and then the entire area seemed to be surrounded by a powerful force. Wang Lin's expression changed. He was familiar with this power. It was the power of the reincarnation cycle. Just as his body was about to move, all of the surrounding reincarnation cycle power gathered and descended upon Wang Lin. At this moment, the power of the reincarnation cycle seemed to form a prison and Wang Lin was trapped inside. He wasn't able to move his body even 1 inch. He couldn't even raise a single finger. After the giant hand finished messing with the wheel, it descended like lightning. Its target was Zhu Yu. Wang Lin wasn't able to move his body at all, but his heart screamed, "No." He had worked hard for 19 years just for this moment, but now he could only watch as the giant hand was about to take Li Muwen's nascent soul away. At this moment, Wang Lin went crazy. He wasn't able to move his body, but his origin soul was still free. Although his origin soul couldn't leave his body, his domain still existed. The figure of a giant ancient god appeared in the sky and grabbed the life and death scroll. With one shake, the scroll opened completely. In an instant, a thick strand of grey gas came out of the life and death scroll. It didn't move toward the giant hand but fused with the figure of the ancient god. The ancient god figure trembled and an aura similar to the heaven's messengers appeared. It coldly looked at the heaven's messenger's arm before grabbing it and viciously pulling it back. The heaven's messenger that had only showed its face was dragged out from the void by the ancient god. A strange scene occurred in the sky as two giant figures appeared. Wang Lin's eyes were like lightning right now. When he saw the heaven's messenger, he was startled. The heaven's messenger's body was almost no different from an ancient god's body, but what shocked Wang Lin were the 7 shining stars on the messenger's head. However, 3 of the stars seemed to be sealed. They were much dimmer than the rest. When Wang Lin saw this, an unbelievable thought came to his mind. This is the real reincarnation cycle. When he first saw the Heaven's Messenger, he didn't question it, but after seeing it again, he suddenly thought, the reincarnation cycle is an law of the heavens, it should be ethereal, why would a messenger exist? And this messenger was an ancient god. Everything he saw today was outside of Wang Lin's imagination. He questioned what exactly was the heaven's law. After the Heaven's Messenger was pulled, he opened his eyes for the first time and revealed an expression other than cold indifference. It was confusion. He stared at the figure of the ancient god before opening his mouth as if he wanted to speak, but in the end he closed it. His body moved and his giant hand quickly swung toward the ancient god formed by Wang Lin's domain. Boom! This sound echoed through the heavens and earth. Everything within 5,000 kilometers of here was already shattered and now it was shattering even more. Wang Lin clearly saw the ground within 5,000 kilometers suddenly cave in, forming a giant hole. The only place that didn't collapse was the center of the hole where Zhu Yu was. Now it looked like Zhu Yu was on top of a tower. Zhu Yu's body was emitting a gentle, white light. The ancient god formed by Wang Lin's domain was knocked back several steps by the Heaven's Messenger. Wang Lin's body trembled as blood seeped out from the corner of his mouth. His origin soul was about to collapse. But he knew that if he couldn't withstand this, then Li Muwen's nascent soul was going to die. The ancient god formed by Wang Lin's domain rushed forward and punched the Heaven's Messenger. Bang! 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 One punch after another caused the entire moon to shake and more blood to seep from his mouth. At this moment, the force holding Wang Lin weakened, so he grasped the opportunity and quickly let out a growl and broke free. Die! Wang Lin let out a roar as he jumped into the air and punched the Heaven's Messenger. A hint of confusion appeared in the Heaven's Messenger's eyes as he swung his right arm and sent Wang Lin flying like a meteor. However, Wang Lin's punch also landed and caused the Heaven's Messenger to stagger back several steps. The ancient god figure quickly took a few steps to catch up to the Heaven's Messenger and attacked once more. Wang Lin's body quickly returned. As he licked the blood from the corner of his lips, his eyes became filled with battle intent. He and the ancient god formed from his domain battled the Heaven's Messenger. The messenger kept on getting pushed back. Only 4 of the stars on his forehead were shining, meaning his current power was only that of a 4-star ancient god. You are not of my clan, the Heaven's Messenger talked for the first time. A normal cultivator wouldn't be able to understand him at all because he spoke in the ancient god's language. It was indeed as he said, Wang Lin at this moment couldn't be considered an ancient god. Ancient gods never had internal cultivation, and from ancient history to now, no ancient god ever had a domain. It doesn't matter if I am or not, I won't agree to you taking Li Muwen's nascent soul away. Wang Lin shouted back, in the ancient god's language as he threw a punch. The Heaven's Messenger was forced back once more. The ancient god figure quickly followed up on that attack. The white light surrounding Zhu Yu became stronger and stronger. A voice suddenly came from inside Zhu Yu. Wang Lin. You lied to me. This was a voice Wang Lin hadn't heard in 19 years. It belonged to Li Muwen. Wang Lin's body trembled as he suddenly turned around. He was grief-stricken by what he saw. You. What he saw was the white light around Zhu Yu becoming as bright as it possibly could. Her soul was pushed out of her body and then surrounded by the white light before gently landing on the side. Wang Lin. Wan wants to see you and be with you, but I am supposed to be dead. It is simply too cruel to her if the price of me awakening is to devour her soul. I felt this child grow up over these past 19 years, looking at her is like seeing my own child. Big brother Wang. I don't have the heart to do it. Wan is very dumb. I let you down. The moment Li Muwen awakened, she stopped devouring Zhu Yu's soul and used the power of her nascent soul to push Zhu Yu's soul out of her body. Without Zhu Yu's soul, her body was surrounded by a death aura. The moment Li Muwen's nascent soul awakened, it was exposed to the heaven's law. This caused it to slowly collapse. Wang Lin quickly arrived beside Zhu Yu's body and pointed at her brow. At that moment, Li Muwen's nascent soul slowly flew out of Zhu Yu's body. She opened her eyes, looked at Wang Lin, and revealed the same gentle gaze from 19 years ago. Li Muwen softly said, "Promise me to take good care of yourself." She raised her hand to feel Wang Lin's body temperature, but right when she was about to touch him, her hand became transparent. A trace of sadness appeared on her face. She looked at Wang Lin and whispered, "Zhu Yu is only a child, don't make it difficult for her. This is my own choice." At this moment, the Heaven's Messenger moved past the ancient god figure and arrived beside Wang Lin. It reached out toward the wheel and messed with it. The power of the reincarnation cycle reappeared once more. A powerful suction force came from the wheel toward Li Muwen. Wang Lin suddenly raised his head. His eyes became extremely cold as he said, "Without my permission, forget the fact that you aren't even the real heaven's law, but even if you were, don't think you can take her away." He pointed at his brow and the heaven-defying bead appeared. With a wave of his hand, Li Muwen's nascent soul went into the heaven-defying bead and the heaven-defying bead went back inside his body. The heaven's messenger shot a thoughtful look at Wang Lin. His eyes were filled with confusion. Then his body slowly disappeared, and in the blink of an eye, the clouds and will also disappeared. Wang Lin stared at Juayu's body and began to laugh like crazy. His laugh was filled with sadness and madness. I, Wang Lin, have fought against the heavens and twice fought against the reincarnation cycle, but I didn't expect to lose to the heavens' will in the end. The heavens' will is cruel. Wang Lin pointed at Juayu's soul and placed it back inside her body. Then he jumped into the air as he laughed madly, leaving behind only echoes of his sad laughter. After Wang Lin left, Little White carefully flew over. He was originally sealed by Wang Lin, but during the battle with the heaven's messenger, the seal shattered, allowing him to escape. Only after he saw Wang Lin leave did he dare to come over. His eyes were filled with sadness as he licked Juayu's small face. Juayu muttered to herself, "Little White. Stop messing around, I want to sleep." Little White was startled. He immediately let out a happy growl and then picked up Juayu by her clothes and took her far away. A crazy person appeared on the moon. His hair was all over the place and he would often say the two words heaven's will. Whenever a beast blocked him, it would die. Heaven's will. I, Wang Lin, won against the heaven's law but was played by the heaven's will. A year later, on a rainy night at the eastern part of the moon, a crazy person stood on top of a tall mountain. The rain came crashing toward the ground. It landed on his body and flowed down his cheeks before falling to the ground. What is life? What is death? I, Wang Lin, have spent my life on the path of slaughter and comprehended the heaven's law when I turned into a mortal. I saw life and death as death. This rain is born in the sky and dies when it hits the earth. Thanks to Senior Juyi's obsession, the celestial female corpse awakened. The emotions between the two, how if he lives she dies and if he dies she lives, all of this allowed me to understand the meaning of seeing life not as life and seeing death not as death. Surviving through a disaster allowed me to see the changes in life. Juayu tipping between life and death, WNR's death in life and life in death. It was the heaven's will that finally allowed I, Wang Lin, to see life still as life and death still as death. After 19 years of time. WNR, thank you for allowing me to understand. I should let things that are lost in the world stay lost and those that still exist to remain existing. This rain was born in the sky but doesn't die when it hits the earth. On the earth it will gain new life, it will help plants grow and then it will turn into clouds once more. This change is life. I can't let go of my parents' soul and your departure. In truth, I wasn't filial to my parents, and to you I have always been neglectful. Although this emotion is real, it was more of a sense of duty, because I was moved. Wang Lin's parents' souls flew out from his brow. They gently gazed at him as they slowly disappeared. They didn't die but entered a different realm of life. Wang Lin slowly walked over from where he was. He immediately noticed when Little White returned and saw the fruit he was carrying. What a good demonic tiger, sacrificing yourself for your master. Wang Lin looked at Little White. Fear appeared in Little White's eyes, but he still stood before Juayu and growled. Juayu rubbed Little White's fur and asked, "Uncle, what is a nascent soul-shattering fruit?" Wang Lin slowly said, "After you eat the fruit, although WNR, who is inside you, won't die, she will become very weak." Juayu was startled. She lowered her head to look at Little White and whispered, "Little White, so you went to look for this fruit for me when you left." She let out a sigh and threw the fruit to the side. The fruit rolled a few times before falling down a cliff. Juayu raised her head and looked at Wang Lin. "Uncle, don't hurt Little White, okay?" Wang Lin looked at Juayu. He nodded and then left. Juayu bit her lower lip as she looked at Wang Lin's back. That figure was so unfamiliar. Juayu exclaimed, "Uncle, you can relax. Juayu knows what to do to allow you and big sister WNR to reunite." Wang Lin's body paused. He pondered a bit before continuing to walk away. Another 2 years quickly passed by. On this day, a thick mass of black fog erupted from the giant hole that led to the immortal graveyard. This black fog pierced into the sky. The fog turned into a very strange plant with very large leaves. There were countless tattoos on the plant and it gave off a strange aura. Just at this moment, a golden light appeared in the sky. Inside the golden light were the illusions of 5 glowing flying swords. The moment the golden light appeared, it turned into a net and covered the plant. After a series of rumbling sounds, it forcibly suppressed the plant. "My clan has been hiding for tens of thousands of years, but today, no one will stop my clan from taking back planet Fu," when an ancient voice said, from deep within the immortal graveyard, and then a very ancient-looking old man walked out from the hole. There weren't any tattoos on the old man's body, but if one looked closely, there was a plant flashing on his forehead. Upon closer inspection, there were 11 leaves on that plant. No. After another closer look, there was another leaf under the 11 leaves. Although it was not completely open, it was opened 1/3 of the way. The moment the old man walked out from the hole, the 5 swords in the sky all hummed in unison. Two of the swords left the golden net and charged toward the old man. The old man's expression was calm as he whispered, "The country of Suzaku's first generation Suzaku sacrificed himself along with 9 mid-stage ascendant cultivators to create these 5 swords to seal my forsaken immortal clan for tens of thousands of years. Today I can do the same thing by sacrificing myself to free my forsaken immortal clan. Absorb." He pointed forward with his right hand and a giant tattoo appeared before him. This tattoo let out a primal aura and immediately began to spread. Those 2 flying swords began to tremble, then they managed to break free from the power of the tattoo and quickly backed away. Return. The old man's eyes were calm. It was as if he had seen through everything. He waved his right hand and then a heaven-shattering roar came from the sky. Countless tattoos appeared in the air soon after. They interlocked with each other to create a tattoo that looked like it could split the heavens. The 2 flying swords stopped struggling and flew toward the old man like lightning. Bang! Bang! 2 bangs that echoed across the entire planet could be heard as the 2 swords stabbed into the old man's chest. They were struggling to escape but couldn't. Back then, this old man was but a coward who had to watch countless clan members die. Although I lived, my heart died back then. The old man pointed at the golden net in the sky. 2 more flying swords quickly flew toward him. Although they struggled, it was to avail. They were controlled by the old man to stab into his chest as well. It has been tens of thousands of years and I was originally supposed to be dead, but my clan regarded me as their founding ancestor. They fed me my own clan's tattoos to keep me alive. I survived on the lives of my own clan members. I'm a sinner of my clan. The old man looked at the last flying sword in the golden net. He took a deep breath and reached out, then the final golden sword suddenly began to struggle. But it seemed like the golden sword didn't have enough power to resist. After a while, it charged out from the golden net and stabbed toward the old man. This old man is a sinner of the forsaken immortal clan who deserves to die. Today this old man broke through the 11-leaf stage and my 12th leaf has started to open, placing me a level above what the cultivators call ascendant. However, this old man's talent is limited, so I wasn't able to fully absorb the power to truly take that last step. I'm a disgrace to the ancestors and I'm not worthy of all the clan members who died to keep me alive. The last flying sword rushed over and stabbed the old man right between the eyes. The old man's eyes slowly dimmed. This old man is a sinner, but my death will allow my clan to return to the surface. Allow me to be sealed in place of the forsaken immortal tree. With my soul as a sacrifice, my clan can reappear. At that moment, the light in the old man's eyes went out and his hands reached out to tear open the sky. A sound that reverberated through the entire planet could be heard as the golden net was split in half. The giant plant that was suppressed by the golden net immediately charged out and became like a pillar holding up the heavens. At the same time, the countless tattoos surrounding the area shattered and disappeared. The old man's body slowly merged with the giant plant and disappeared. At this moment, the forsaken immortal clan members came out of the hole one by one. More and more of them came out and every single one of them bowed deeply toward the plant. Among those forsaken immortal clan members was a woman who was wearing a veil. Her eyes underneath the veil were calm. "I hope you aren't lying to me. I want that Chen Feng to die without a grave." 50 kilometers away, a burly man wearing a straw hat looked at the giant plant and muttered, "I hope you didn't lie to me. I want the 4-sect alliance to return. Kill." A roar that could pierce the heavens came from the immortal graveyard. This wasn't a roar from one person but from all the forsaken immortal clan members. This roar traveled through the high heavens and echoed across the land. At this moment, an angry roar came from the cave Zhuqiuzi was cultivating in at the top of Mount Suzaku. The roar caused the cave to explode, leaving behind only dust. Zhuqiuzi, who was wearing a red robe, appeared from the void. He looked at the direction of the immortal graveyard with a very ugly expression. "Damn remnants of the forsaken immortal clan. You guys are courting death." Zhuqiuzi reached out and all the clouds seemed to gather in his hand. Soon, a white token formed from the clouds appeared in his palm. He slapped it with his left hand and the token split into 2, then to 4, and so on. "I'm calling all cultivation countries as the 14th generation Suzaku. The second war with the forsaken immortal clan begins." The cloud tokens quickly disappeared. Then the old man walked out of his long years of closed-door cultivation in the heavenly jade sect in the country of Suzaku. He was wearing a black robe and was very skinny, but his eyes lit up as he looked toward the immortal graveyard. He whispered, "Things are changing." This old man was the early-stage ascendant ancestor that the entire heavenly jade sect respected, Chu Yunfei. The Earth Soul sect was in eastern side of Suzaku. There was a cave deep underground below the sect, and inside it sat a middle-aged man. At this moment, this man suddenly opened his eyes. His eyes gave off an ancient feel as he sighed. "This day has finally come. I can't believe I got caught up in this." The final sect in Suzaku was the Immortals Path sect, however, there was no commotion here. The ascendant ancestor of the Immortals Path sect was very mysterious. Very few people knew of his whereabouts or even what he looked like. Pailu, soul refining sect. Du Tian opened his eyes and sneered before closing them once more. This calamity on planet Suzaku had nothing to do with Wang Lin. He was only focused on facing the second arrival of the Heaven's Messenger so Li Muwen could be reborn. There were 2 years left until Li Muwen's awakening. In these 2 years, Zhu Yu spent most of her time in silence. It was as if there was already a huge barrier between her and Wang Lin. Wang Lin could feel Li Muwen's nascent soul slowly awakening in her body and Zhu Yu's life force slowly disappearing. When her life force completely disappears, Li Muwen will have completely devoured Zhu Yu's soul. However, the speed at which Li Muwen's nascent soul was growing had slowed down over the last year. It was as if it wasn't willing to grow, it wasn't willing to devour Zhu Yu's soul. Wang Lin knew that it was because Li Muwen had recovered some of her consciousness. She wasn't willing to sacrifice a child to allow herself to reawaken. This was her choice and it was not Wang Lin's decision to make. He used his spiritual energy to stop her, allowing her nascent soul to continue to grow inside Zhu Yu. I know you aren't willing to devour this child. Believe in me, I'll do this properly and not harm her at all. Once you have awakened, we can send her back to her parents. What I want is your nascent soul, not this child's body. This was Wang Lin's promise to Li Muwen. Little White, where is Uncle? Zhu Yu was sitting on Little White's back with a bunch of fruits in her hands. Little White shook his big head and let out a growl in response. Ever since Zhu Yu had woken up 1 year ago, she hadn't seen Wang Lin. Only Little White accompanied her. Little White was currently carrying Zhu Yu as they walked through a mountain range. At this moment, the ground suddenly began to tremble. Little White let out a low growl as he backed up a couple dozen feet. The ground began to shake even more violently and then suddenly a life form that looked like a worm but countless times larger sprang out of the ground. It let out a roar and pointed its head at Zhu Yu. The part of this creature that was above ground was already over 100 feet tall. Its entire body was red and had bamboo-like sections. It looked very terrifying. There was no fear on Zhu Yu's face though, instead, there was some excitement. She threw the fruits away, hit Little White's head, and said, "Little White, you have to look carefully, whether we can find Uncle or not depends on this." Little White rolled his eyes and let out a roar at the giant worm. The more than 100 feet long worm moved. It opened its large mouth and charged toward Zhu Yu. It moved very fast and they could smell its fishy breath as it approached. There were also countless sharp teeth in its mouth. If one were to get caught by that mouth, there wouldn't be any bones left. There wasn't any trace of fear in Zhu Yu's face, she instead became more and more excited. Her large eyes weren't even looking at the giant worm and instead she raised her head to look at the sky. Even Little White didn't retreat another step. There was a hint of mockery in his eyes. Just at the moment that the giant worm charged forth, a giant figure appeared in the sky. This figure let out a humming sound and then arrived beside Zhu Yu at an unimaginable speed. It was a giant mosquito. Its sharp mouth quickly stabbed into the worm. With a swing, the worm's entire body was dragged out from underground and thrown into the air. At this moment, the mosquito moved again and in a flash stabbed its sharp mouth into the head of the worm. Then all of the worm's blood was sucked dry by the mosquito. The mosquito threw the worm to the side, then he looked at Zhu Yu and Little White before flying off into the distance. Zhu Yu quickly shouted, "Little White, chase, quickly, chase." Little White didn't hesitate and immediately started running. Wang Lin let out the mosquito beast 1 year ago to protect Zhu Yu. He didn't want to see Zhu Yu, but he wouldn't just leave her alone on this dangerous moon. During this past year, the mosquito had saved Zhu Yu countless times. At first Zhu Yu was scared of the mosquito, but now she felt a sense of familiarity toward him. Whenever she saw him, it was like she was seeing Wang Lin. She had no memory of what happened 1 year ago and she also had no memory of having a nascent soul in her body. It was as if it had never happened. Wang Lin wiped away those memories when he returned her soul to her body. Zhu Yu was an innocent child, she shouldn't have to suffer for Li Muwen's failed awakening. Wang Lin wasn't the type to blame others in anger, and he wanted to let her live a full life. However, Wang Lin's heart was still thinking about what happened 1 year ago, so he didn't want to face Zhu Yu. This feeling was very complicated for him. Zhu Yu felt very bad for not being able to see Uncle, so she started her journey to find him. The moon was very small to Wang Lin but very big to her. During this year, she and Little White had traveled across more than half of the moon. Although she hadn't seen Wang Lin once, she felt like she was getting closer to her uncle. Unfortunately, Little White was far too slow compared to the mosquito, so the mosquito's figure soon disappeared into the distance. However, Zhu Yu knew that the moment she meets danger again, that big mosquito will rush over. "Mitch, that big mosquito flies too fast. Little White, you're too slow." Zhu Yu pouted as she looked into the sky. Little White let out a roar filled with grievance. He thought, that mosquito is flying in the sky. If it were running on the ground, I'd definitely be faster. Zhu Yu was about to continue speaking when a gentle breeze landed on her, sending a surge of warmth through her body. Zhu Yu was startled as she looked around and whispered, "Little White, don't you think this is strange? Every 3 to 5 days there is this warm breeze. Each time it lands on me, I feel warmth travel through my whole body and then I won't feel hungry even if I don't eat." Little White shook his head and let out a low growl as a response. Zhu Yu's journey continued. What she didn't know was that Wang Lin was at the top of the mountain with his divine sense withdrawn. During this past year, although he had gone crazy, he didn't forget about Zhu Yu's safety. He would spread out his divine sense every few days to check on Zhu Yu's condition and then send some spiritual energy into her body to prevent her from getting hungry. Wang Lin raised his head toward the sky. His eyes were currently very bright. Wang Lin had never had this type of gaze before. It was a gaze that could penetrate the heart and see through life and death. So the domain of life and death is like this. The things in this world, if I want to control them, then I can. Wang Lin's right hand reached forth and all the clouds before him gathered toward his palm. Soon, a small ball made of clouds appeared in his hand. This ball of clouds was filled with lightning. Feeling the immense power inside the ball, Wang Lin let out a deep breath. Although this ball of clouds couldn't destroy the heavens, it could kill any soul formation cultivator. If the soul transformation Li Yuanfeng were to revive, he would be destroyed by this ball as well. The life and death domain has reached completion and my cultivation has broken through the soul formation stage. I only need one more step to reach the soul transformation stage. I have already taken half of that step. Wang Lin waved his right hand and the ball of clouds disappeared. I need to prepare to reach the soul transformation stage. Wang Lin's eyes were calm. Soul transformation cultivators can be considered a real powerhouse. It is said that soul transformation cultivators are wanted by many on any cultivation planet. The giant demon clan ancestor was merely at the early stage of soul transformation, but it allowed him to control an entire clan and become their leader. Li Yuanfeng was raised to the soul transformation stage by force but became the pillar of Shui Yu. One could see the value of a soul transformation cultivator. After all, the ascendant old monsters were always in closed-door cultivation and there were far too few of them. Thus, soul transformation cultivators become the real backbone of any power. If we put it in the context of the mortal martial arts world, they would be the top-class experts that are admired by everyone. Among cultivators, the significance of these people are amplified by more than 1,000-fold. This was a soul transformation cultivator. Even Tianyunzi never would have expected that the little cultivator who he had good a feeling about that was on the edge of the soul formation stage would be preparing to enter the soul transformation stage only 200 years later. If Tianyunzi knew this, then Wang Lin wouldn't merely be an honorary disciple for 100 years, he would become a real disciple with certain privileges. Sichu, once I reach the soul transformation stage, I'll have the power to awaken you. Wang Lin took a deep breath as he pointed at his brow. Shortly after, his body began to disappear as he went inside the heaven-defying bead. Inside the heaven-defying bead, Sichu Nan's large soul was floating there. Wang Lin appeared next to it and silently stared at it. After absorbing the 2 arms, Sichu Nan's soul was no longer transparent, it was now more solid. His soul gave off a powerful pressure. This pressure was several times stronger than ancestor Du Tian's. Sichu, Wang Lin silently stared at Sichu Nan for a very long time before taking a step and appearing in the eastern part of the heaven-defying bead. There was another nascent soul here. However, this nascent soul's eyes were closed as if she was sleeping. She was surrounded by spirit liquid that continuously entered her soul to provide her with energy. Wang Lin's eyes became gentle. The spirit liquid surrounding was the dew from the heaven-defying bead. Wang Lin had gathered this dew over the past year. Its purpose was to help repair Li Muwen's nascent soul, and with the passage of time, it will make her nascent soul even stronger. You waited for me for 300 years. I, Wang Lin, have no way to repay you. I'll protect your nascent soul until you awaken, until my death. Wang Lin looked at Li Muwen's nascent soul for a very long time. If everything I do can be exchanged for a chance at a miracle, then I'll wait 1 year, 10 years, 100 years, 1,000 years, until my death. Wang Lin looked tenderly at Li Muwen as memories of the past flashed across his mind. Memories are like water in your palm. It doesn't matter whether you have your hand open or if it's holding it tightly, it will still leak drop by drop until it's all gone. However, the coolness of the water is unforgettable. Wang Lin walked up and gently kissed her forehead. His warmth was slowly transmitted to Wan Er. Wan Er's body trembled. She felt Wang Lin's lips and his warmth. This warmth contained an unerasable joy, a silent call, and a sense of protection that will never fade. Love is like a river. The left shore is the joyous laughter that can brighten up 1,000 years of sadness, and the right shore is an eternal silence lingering under the candlelight. What flows between them is years of fading loneliness. Wang Lin turned around and left the heaven-defying bead. Although he left the heaven-defying bead, his heart remained there for all of eternity. On the top of the mountain, under the starlight in the middle of the night, the lonely figure under the rain seems like it is about to be shattered by the wind. The uncertain sadness is what always gets blown away by the wind, but the loneliness of having no family or friends is the fire that the wind can never extinguish. The lonely figure raised his well-structured face to face the darkness in the sky, to face the brightness of the stars. There he saw the figure of a woman that will forever remain in his heart. This video will end